Who's breakout star number one in 2025? How much should the starters play in the preseason? And something for the fans. It's viewer and listener topic choice show. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Thanks for hanging out, man. Another show, Thursday, end of July. Preseason's right around the corner. We're in a pretty good spot. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every damn day. Everydayers, unite. Nope, didn't like that. Everydayers, thank you for hanging out. Season 9 upon us with me hosting this lovely show. If this is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals, thank you. Maybe make tomorrow your second. So I had to push this off a little bit. I put out on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. I wanted to let you guys choose the topics for a show. And I want to do this more. I'm trying to figure out the cadence of it, but I want to do this more. I've got stuff like I've got a list. I don't need but I do like to kind of manicure it to, what you guys would like to hear. And so I picked 3 topics, and they are as such. Finally, something for the fans. Something for the fans. I'll give you the shout out of the Twitter handle when I get to the segment. Should the starters play in the preseason? Okay. I've alluded to this a little bit. I'm going to talk much more in depth next week as we ramp up to the first preseason game. And then breakout candidate number 1, I'm going to start with here. And, I'm actually happy that I waited to do this. It was because Starling Thomas got hurt, and then there was a lot more conversation around that. But I'm really excited to do this today. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. So here we go. This answer for me changed after the Starling Thomas injury. Who is breakout candidate number 1 for me in 2025? The under-the-radar breakout candidate that's a non-rookie. This is from Michael and Mikey Diney on Twitter, MikeYDINIE. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Thanks for the idea. And there are 2. I'm going to give an honorable mention, and I'm going to give the real answer, because the honorable mention is less under the radar. It's Darius Robinson. So my buddy Donnie Druin from Sports Illustrated does a great job over there on the beat at camp, taking great video, etc. We were talking about the multifaceted nature by which Darius Robinson can play football. Whether he lines up inside, 3-tech, 5-tech, whatever it is, he can, moonlight on the edge, where he's not like a blow by you speed guy. He's more of a, I'm going to push your big rig uphill with it in park, like strength. Okay. So it's going to be fascinating to see what he does and where they line him up. I think that with all of the uncertainty surrounding Drew Petzing, etc., you can't say the same thing for the defense. Nick Rallis has done whimsical things with a less than talented roster during his first 2 years at the helm, calling the defense. And I know obviously he and JG do it together. Fascinating to see what they do with Darius Robinson. He's going to be playing more than likely more than one position at any given time during the season, which will allow him more of a bandwidth to be a breakout candidate. And for him, it's not going to be geared towards, is he going to get to 10 sacks or something like that? It's not going to be that. It's impact. It's disruption. It's pressure. It's giving and yielding opportunities to the secondary to turn the ball over. And then, you have, your sacks and strip sacks and things like that at the point of attack. But that's going to be Darius Robinson. But the breakout candidate for me is Dadrion Taylor-Demerson. This is a guy, and I wouldn't have said this if Starling Thomas was going to play in 2025. This is a guy who can do so many things on a football field. Okay. And for me, a little bit nostalgic. He wears Kwame Lassiter's old number 42. For those that don't know, Kwame gave me my first crack at radio in a small internet radio show I moved out to Arizona. We had a mutual friend. I got introduced, and Kwame taught me about football. Like, I thought I knew about football. And then he's like, let me teach you about football. And he was so kind and caring and giving. The Kwame Lassiter Foundation is still thriving with his wife, Erica, running it to this day. Like, he was a special, special man. And I do miss him. And he's wearing number 42. He passed away a few years ago. So the nostalgia there, having me see number 42 run around a football field is just, it's special for me in many ways. But so anyways, with that said, sorry, I don't even know why that was. Anyways, yeah, it's just important. So Dadrion Taylor-Demerson is an absolute terror. Okay. When I was going through the draft process, I was going on different radio shows around the country with teams like that the Cardinals were going to be playing, whether it be in the preseason or regular season. I'd do some spots. They asked about the draft, and I would say, Dadrion Taylor-Demerson drafted in the middle rounds. They're like, yep, he was on our list too. Every single radio show I went on, not like, this isn't like hyperbole. Every single one said, yep, he was on the radar for them in that round also. So the dude obviously was special coming out of Tech, okay? He is going to be the heir apparent, you'd think, to Jalen Thompson. But with the 3 safety sets that they've been practicing, and then they're most likely going to run, I call it the demon mode lineup, where it's going to be Jalen Thompson in the slot, and then Garrett Williams outside, and Will Johnson or Max Mount on the outside otherwise, and then Dadrion Taylor-Demerson and Budda Baker over the top. That's one. And then, like, Donnie Druin and I were talking about this yesterday, like, you could move him into more of a hybrid linebacker role, like Dale Buchanan kind of was, but not for the fact that they need to find a spot, or not for the fact that Dadrion Taylor-Demerson can't play a specific role, that they have to kind of make up a role for him, like Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins to start his career. It's because he can play that role and they need it. So Dadrion Taylor-Demerson in this demon mode secondary that I'm kind of coining, and I don't know if there's going to be another one but for now, that's what it is. He has the potential to be that breakout guy. He's violent. He's pretty good in coverage, but for safeties, like, it's not necessarily as much about that. I see them using him in kind of a Budda Baker role also, where it's like, yeah, you're going to line up maybe 5 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, but you're going to get the quarterback. Like, he can do so many different things that it gives him the bandwidth, even more than Darius Robinson, to have the opportunity to break the hell out in 2025. And with that, like, on top of just the opportunity, and, maybe the best part about all of this is, and you could say this for a lot of the younger players, is they've got talent everywhere on defense. So it's something to where he can really just be him and learn and grow as a second-year player with the optimal potential to absolutely break the hell out. And while, of course, and I've stated this multiple times with when Charlie Thomas got hurt, like, you never want anybody to get injured, let alone a up-and-coming guy on your own team who's played better and better each of the last 2 seasons. But it's like, when that does happen, it forces shifts, and it may yield a different product that could potentially be a better product than if Starling Thomas was healthy. And I don't know. That just happenstance. That's just, we're going to find out one way or the other. So breakout candidate number 1 for 2025, the under-the-radar guy, Michael Diney on Twitter asked me, Dadrion Taylor-Demerson. Preseason play. I've flirted with this, talked about it a little bit. Things have shifted because of injury. How much should the starters play in the preseason? I'll discuss it next. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by our dear friends at 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's, it's a hole in one. Just put it that way. It's going to give you the energy you need on the course. Let's be honest. Some days on the course, it's, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. And that's something that 5 Hour Energy Transfusion will have for you tenfold. Like, for me, and I talk about this, like, I've transitioned from when I was 20, 21, 22 on the golf course in the morning, having a beer or two, doesn't matter if it's 6 o'clock in the morning or not, to me needing something to get me going caffeine-wise to wake me up. And that's definitely something that 5 Hour Energy can provide. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. And the grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's number 5, hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th. On one order, it cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription offers. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Cardinal Squad Show, I forgot to mention. Tonight, it's Tuesday and Thursday. As of now, when the season starts, this is what the cadence will be following games on the Locked On Cardinals YouTube channel. Game ends, I will be going live, okay? This is something I will be doing for the entire year. People have been asking for live shows. You're going to get it. So I'm doing my full, 25 to 30-minute show immediately post-game, and then we're going to be doing another hour with the Cardinal Squad Show with me, Jameel Douglas, and Ben Garcia, talking even more Cardinals. You're going to get 90 minutes of Cardinals talk after each game. That is our promise to you. So you might want to go subscribe if you're not already, so you can, get a notification when my big dumb face is ready to rip. You know what I mean? It's just easy. Should the Cardinals play starters? If so, how much in preseason play? This one's from Man at Well Done A5 on Twitter. The actual question was, since preseason is upon us, do you think JG needs to play starters a bit more this preseason than last year? How much time should they play? It's a great question, okay? And there's a couple different answers. Like, let's look at both sides, and then I'll give my thoughts. So one side is you want these guys as prepared as possible week one to just go. That's the plan this year. Go. Everything is set. Go. And maybe you play them in the third preseason game. Maybe you play them a half. Maybe you play them a quarter. For me, starters on offense need not play. Starters on offense need not play, in my humblest of opinions, because this is rinse and repeat. I know that they've broken down and rebuilt the offense, and they've got, things they got to run, especially, with if Will Hernandez isn't going to be re-signed. I don't know why he wouldn't. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. Maybe they're just, crossing the T's and dotting the I's. The skill position players don't need to play. Trey McBride doesn't need to see the field. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't need to see the field. James Conner doesn't need to see the field. Kyler Murray doesn't need to see the field. He just doesn't. They just don't. He just doesn't. Now, when it comes to the offensive line, though, Paris Johnson's not going to play. I don't know if Jonah Williams is going to play. I know he's a vet, but, maybe he, and especially if it's going to be Isaiah Adams on the right, I think Isaiah Adams needs to play a little bit. Yalta Frohl doesn't need to play. Probably start John Gaines there. Maybe give Hayden Connors some run, during the second half of most games at center to see if he can be that backup guy or if it's going to be John Gaines. The offensive line is going to be the most important part for the offense during the preseason to kind of figure out what they've got and what they don't have. Christian Jones, they've got dudes. It's a matter of who is going to be where on the depth chart. Okay, but defense, this is the important part. I think Dadrion Taylor-Demerson needs to play more than he was going to. I think Will Johnson needs to play more than he was going to. Max Melton needs to play more than we thought than initially thought that he was going to. With Starling Thomas hurt, I just think it's necessary. The Darius Robinson thing is fascinating because Walter Nolan, he's probably going to miss the preseason. You need to see where Darius Robinson's going to be. If Bija Ojulari's off the pup, you'd expect him to be. I don't know, maybe not. Do you just take your time with him because you've got so many guys up front to where you just put him on the actual pup list where he'll miss the first handful of games of the regular season? That's something that Jonathan Gannon, they're not going to rush him back. They haven't. But, if he's activated and he's eligible to play in the preseason, I think he needs to play. He hasn't played in a long time. And as important as he is to the pass rush room, even if he's 75% of what you hoped he would be coming out of the second round a couple of years ago, he needs to get the juices flowing for sure. Jordan Birch needs to play. Cody Simon needs to play. All the rookies on defense are going to need to play. Will Johnson may be the least amount of that, but with the new configuration potentially of the secondary, that's going to be much more important than we initially thought with Starling Thomas getting hurt. And, and I think all of that is pretty rational. Budda Baker, no. I floated maybe Jalen Thompson getting some run. If they're going to play in that 3-safety set, they need to practice it against football players that aren't both wearing the Arizona Cardinals uniform. I know they have a joint practice against the Broncos. Like, they're going to get a little bit of run. But for me, and I know that this is wrong, I know that this is irrational. I know that this isn't how things work because it's undermining an NFL team. If they were playing the Bengals week 1, I'd say you got to play your starters more. They're playing the Saints. I know that's wrong. It's like 90% irrational, 10% rational. Because, again, they've been – my phone's been ringing off the hook for me to come in and try out to be their quarterback with the Saints. Like, truly, I played flag football. I played quarterback a couple games. That's kind of where the Saints quarterback room is at. Overall, with the reps that the Cardinals need on offense, they're still kind of a work in progress. As Donnie told me yesterday, like especially with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler, which is, it's not something where it's like, oh, freak out, everybody run for the hills. No, it's something. Not overwhelming, not underwhelming. It's just whelming. It's just existing. And it's not one thing to really freak out about one way or the other. The defense will be able to carry until the cobwebs are removed from the offense. And it sounds like I'm making like excuses. It's more reasons like with defense, they're just ready to go. They've added all the talent. It's like it's so funny. Like, and I'm just going to squirrel here for a second. It's so funny when like you're pinning the defense against the offense. It's not like they're two separate teams. They're both Arizona Cardinals. Like, that's the offense and the defense for the same team. This is a good thing. This is what's supposed to happen when you allocate the majority of your funds and draft capital to one side of the ball. It's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to. Now it's just a matter of the offense leveling up and matching the defense. So it's not like the offense is behind and the defense is so far superior when both have been allocated funds and rookie picks and things like that. Like, the defense was the focal point of this offseason. And it was very obvious. That's because the offense, in my opinion, has more than enough talent to put up between 25 and 30 points a game, especially with the inherent potentially more opportunities for possessions because of how good the defense is going to be. Not just turnovers, but field position, all the things like that. It's working in synchronicity, offense and defense. Like, when you look at 2025 as a whole, it's not going to be about stats. It's going to be about wins. It doesn't matter how it gets done. So with the preseason offense, it's going to be what it's going to be. Either it's going to work or it's not. I don't think that getting reps for Kyler Murray handing the ball off to Trey Benson 3 times is going to benefit anybody. Now, that's another one. Trey Benson needs to play also. Trey Benson will need to play. But the interesting part about Trey Benson is, first of all, he looks great in camp by all accounts. He could win that RB2 role already going into the preseason games. You just start Amari Demercado or whoever it is, Tony Jones, Michael Carter, whoever's going to be there, whoever's vying for a roster spot. And this isn't slander on Amari Demercado. Drew Petzing loves it. It's not slander. And it's also not that Amari Demercado was undrafted, and I think he was undrafted, and then, Trey Benson being a 3rd-round pick. It doesn't matter where players are drafted. Get that out of your head, please. I implore you. It's lazy. The best players are going to play. And you give Trey Benson, because he has the higher upside, irrespective of where he was drafted, you give him all of the reps and make Amari Demercado steal them from him. Or make Trey Benson tell on himself, what the kids say, tell on himself by not producing when given that opportunity. I think that decision is already going to be made probably before the preseason starts. But if you want to play him in the first week, give him a series, cool. I've never feared, well, obviously because I'm not playing, so let me rephrase that. Like, I've never been one to say you want to protect players from injury by not playing them in the preseason. I've always said play them. Got to play them. Got to get the reps. I've retracted that. I'm no longer in that thought process, except for when there's going to be a massive configuration shift, like there could be on defense with 3 safety sets with Starling Thomas going out. They've got to be ready to rip. And that's also interesting because Budda Baker ain't touching that field, man. Like, I don't absolutely no way. So it'll be interesting to see how they do how they run the mock 3 safety sets without the most important player on defense. We'll see. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens. I would like to see Jacoby Brissett play. I'd like to see some tush-push, reps run if opportune in the preseason, because he's going to be the guy. They can implement that into their offense now, which will be fascinating to see also. Okay. And trust me, I will do a full why the defense should play and why the offense should not in the preseason next week. I'll do a full show on it. But thank you for asking the question, man, on Twitter at welldone85. Good topic. Fans, take it easy. Take a breath. It's going to be all right. Next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? Well, with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Like, because it's a one-stop shop, you don't have to use a bunch of different ones. So it's not like, well, I'm keeping up with this part of my finances, but the investing part, I'm using this other app. It's not, exactly easy to use and all these things. So I'm really just focusing on one thing. Monarch Money, it's a one-stop shop, man. Everything, building wealth, managing your finances, everything, all in one place. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. YouTube channel at Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Subscribe, man. Leave a like. Comments have been blowing up. Thank you, everybody. I just want to build this community as big as possible. Provide an honest show, make you think, make you laugh, make you say I'm dumb. It's really the holy trinity, isn't it? Isn't it the trifecta there for a podcast host? At Clancy's Corner on Twitter as well at Locked On AZ Cards. Squad show tonight, 6:00 Arizona time. Jamil Douglas, myself, and Ben Garcia. We're going to chat. It's going to be good. We're about a month in, and we're really starting to gel like we've been doing this a long time. Jamil's very knowledgeable. Ben is a little brother that I've inherited who's, he does good work. So yeah, it's fun. Okay. So fans, like, I almost did this one first. Jacob Williams, definitely an everydayer. So thanks, dude. The tweet is something about the fans would be cool, the struggles and rare triumphs his fan base has had. And I'll pepper in Cards Cult 31 ! At Kiesling Kyle on Twitter, a segment for us weirdos that started following the Cardinals in St. Louis. Go Cards. Yeah, man. Must be loyal people just in life. That's fantastic. So here's the deal. This is difficult to say. You guys have no chance. No, I'm only kidding. This is what I've struggled with through my time, in Phoenix in general, or 9 years specifically with this show. Is like, it feels like the next year is going to be better, and it's just like fleeting hope based upon nothing. Okay, and that's not all of them. All right, the 2016 one was an absolute smack in the face after what they did in 2015, and then 2017, David Johnson gets hurt, and then Carson Palmer gets hurt. 2018, they were relegated to college football. 2019 was hope, kind of, with cautious optimism with who the head coach was. 2020 was optimism, James Conner, things like that. 2020 was DeAndre Hopkins. 2021 was like the blowout 7-0. Okay, it's finally getting put together. And then it's like, oh no, it's the same old Cardinals. And then 2022 and 2023 rebuild. 2024 was more of the same, crumbling at the end of seasons. And then now. So for the fans, this is what I will impart. The reason why it's different is the reason why it feels different is because it is, like, physically, brick and mortar wise, it is different. This is the best roster Kyler Murray's had since being drafted. This is the best roster Budda Baker's had since being drafted. They've got a defensive coordinator who is going to be on a short list for head coaching jobs if the Cardinals make a deep playoff run this year. They've got a top tight end in the league. They've got a top young wide receiver in the league. They've got an above-average offensive line. They've got an above-average quarterback. They've got a head coach who really has this team moving all in one direction. And they've got a GM who's done a masterful job over the last 3 offseason cycles. Maybe he's gone slower than what other people think that they should have done. This is exactly what was supposed to happen. You get a couple bounces. You get a Walter Nolan at 16. You get a Will Johnson dropping in the second round. You get Calais coming home. You get, and this is kind of outside, but Sam Acho is coming back into in a media capacity. AQ Shipley, former Arizona Cardinal, is replacing Ron Wolfley with Dave Pasch. Like, it's not a coincidence that dudes you haven't heard from in a long time that used to play for the Arizona Cardinals are coming back. Okay? That, in and of itself, is different. The Calais Campbell, like, I went on with, Bo and Johnny, like my boys. I give them a lot of crap. Like, it's fun. Our group chat's fun. But I went on with them, and, Bo was like, so who do you think we're going to do a most impactful signing segment? And I was like, Calais. And it's not because, like, obviously, anybody but Calais, who's years younger, could have more of an impact on the field between the lines. Okay. But Calais Campbell coming back signifies a shift. He is the microcosm. He is the personification of the shift. Is it going to work? Don't know. Is it anywhere close to what the last regime was doing? No. And on top of that, what Monty Ossenfort has done, and I've alluded to this, I've peppered it in. In a vacuum, if Monty Ossenfort took over that team, maybe, like, I don't know, maybe they had just maybe had made a playoff run and the GM wanted to retire or whatever it is. Monty Ossenfort took over, and it'd be impossible for that roster to win a Super Bowl. But just go with me here. In a vacuum, what Monty Ossenfort has done over the last 3 years, irrespective of what it's being compared to, has been great. So the reason why it feels different and people are pushing back, like, well, it's the same old Cardinals, I get it. History is on your side, all of it, aside from like 6 years. It feels different because it's not a feeling. It's a collection of actions and signings and releasing and contracts and decisions. It's not a feeling. It's a collection of factual events that have happened, and that's the difference. So when you go into this as a fan, I try to implore you to please remove the Stockholm syndrome of, oh, it's always going to be this. And then people just kind of latch onto that. Stockholm syndrome is, people who are, captured, like, build this strong bond with their captor. It's like the captor for Arizona Cardinals fans is dysfunction. This is what functional operation looks like from Monty Ossenfort down. And that's why it's different. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you more.